he used to come over and be like, yo. Welcome, everybody, to the BKBK Podcast, where sports and the culture collide and the New York Jets reign supreme. I'm your host, Brandon Phillips, joined by my fellow co-hosts, Kerry Taylor, Brian Taylor, and Captain Kyle McKenna. We're bringing this podcast to you live from Summit 68 Studios in Red Hook, Brooklyn. The BKBK team is back at it again and ready to go.
That's right. Ready.
Raring to go.
That's right. We are ready to rock and roll. So we're going to get right to it. First and foremost, before we get to the meat and potatoes, we're going to start off with the appetizer. And that appetizer basically is just going back to basically giving grades to our free agency period as Jets fans.
Sure.
How did the Jets do? Where did we go wrong? Where do we need to improve? Or did we score high marks on everything? So, Brian, go ahead. Talk to me about what your grade is for the Jets free agency period of 2018.
Sure. So I would give the overall, I would give it a B+.
Pourquoi? That's Japanese.
For you don't know what it means. All right. So so you got Josh McCown, brought him back. You got Teddy Bridgewater. You got Isaiah Crowell. You got Spencer Long, Travis Swanson. Don't really like them overall. You know, it's a combination, whatever. I don't really think we upgraded as much as we should have as far as the center or the offensive line in general. You got Terrell Pryor, like the signing, and Andre Roberts, whatever. Tremaine Johnson, I'm not to diss the dude, but we have like 17 wide receivers right now. Why do we
but
really?
He's a kick return specialist.
He has a skill set,
and is way better than having Jeremy Curley.
Yeah, I mean
JoJo Natson. Come on now, JoJo Natson's still on the team for now.
JoJo
Natson returned. He had the worst punt return average in the history of the NFL,
oh my
according
gosh.
to Michael Nania on Gangrene Nation.
Oh, my gosh.
I just remember that fumble on the sideline. I don't know what game it was, but just deflated us.
Terrible. Well, I mean, our special teams in general last year was not great, and definitely the return game was awful. Mm-hmm. So we really got nothing out of that. So Tremaine Johnson, I like the signing. Probably spent a little bit too much for him, but I'm okay with that. It had to overspend. Morris Claiborne, like the re-signing of him, so our corners look good. Avery Williamson, out of nowhere. None of us had him on the radar, but after doing the research around him, I definitely liked it. Mm-hmm. So with the quarterbacks that we brought in, gives us an opportunity with McCown coming in, steady the ship. If Teddy ends up recovering from the injury, great. If he doesn't, you still got McCown there. Via free agency, we could bring in, actually during the draft, you could bring in some people. I'll tell you who my quarterback is later. But I definitely think
Big teaser right there.
we solved a lot of problems and plugged a lot of holes. Now, I still think we could have brought in defensive line help, which we didn't.
Right.
We had a couple of people. Sue was on the radar. If we signed him, I would have gave the dude an A. When McCown does terrible, I tell him about himself. And when he does well, I'm going to tell him about himself as well. I'll give him the credit for that. So I think we came away with a B+. That's my grade.
I don't. Should I go next? Do you?
Yeah, sure. Go
Okay.
ahead, brother. Yeah,
I think that I'm preaching with Brian on a lot of the stuff there. The Sue debacle was like, I don't think we ever really legitimately had a chance at him. I think he totally used us to drive up his value, and I'm probably going to hate him for that for the rest of his career.
But
Just
you know what
that
they
one
also
thing.
Wow.
you know what they also say about him? He's a great player, but he's not the best teammate. So
Sure.
my whole kind of running theme is basically just getting the locker room in order, considering that we just ejected some of the other players that weren't producing a good atmosphere in the locker room.
You think that might have been like a 1-for-1, like a Muhammad Wilkerson out, Dominican Sue in, and it could have been like the same type of issue? Is that what you mean?
I think it potentially could have been worse. I love Sue though, but I look at the way that he plays and the energy that he kind of projects could be even a little bit worse than Muhammad Wilkerson.
Yeah, potentially.
Potentially,
More
but
so against the other teams than his own team, though.
He's a great player, right?
Yeah.
But he's not a great leader. He's a great player, but I'm looking for people who will also play great while also being great leaders for a team that needs leadership, especially a team that doesn't have a franchise quarterback. And, it's still a dice roll to see if we're going to get that franchise quarterback. But I don't want to hate on him because I'm really not, but that's what they're talking about out there.
So I would have said that signing Jonathan Hankins would have been a nice replacement for Sue. And
where did he wind up going?
He's still out there.
He's still out.
He's still out there. Yeah, absolutely. He's still out there. So that would be a nice plug if we could bring that person in. Pro Football Focus, which I definitely love statistics wise.
Yeah,
definitely ranked him high, very high. So I would have liked to bring him in, and that wouldn't have had a negative effect on the locker room.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's bring it back to Kyle.
There was a visit there too, so there was interest in both, on
it
both sides.
still could potentially happen.
Let's bring it back to Kyle. Sorry, Kyle, because I stepped on you just to
No, it's
interject.
all right.
But yes, once you finish your thought.
So I would the guys that I pinpointed to me that were really good signings. First of all, Kevin Pierre-Louis, I think, is a trending up linebacker. If you looked at the Kansas City fans' reaction to losing him, they were all pretty pissed off about it.
Is he more on the inside or outside?
I think
inside.
I think he's more of an inside guy. The and also the fact that he was somebody who didn't cost a lot of money. I saw a bunch of Kansas City reactions to that, and they were pretty much like, well, kind of like the same way we were with Demario Davis, as far as like, that's how much he signed for. We could have done a better job with that maybe, but they had that kind of reaction with him. So I think he's going to be pretty good. I think the Williamson thing, now that we've wrapped ourselves around it and kind of figured it out, he looks like he's going to be a real big upgrade.
Yeah.
I don't mind spending the money on Tremaine Johnson because we have the money.
Got to spend it.
We had to spend it. Didn't like the Crowell thing at first.
I love it.
And then
I do too.
Yeah, I took a deep dive into the numbers, and he was a good running back on a bad team.
Exactly.
4 yards a carry type of guy. I'm really interested in the Bucky Hodges signing, especially because tight end is a need that we have right now, and I see.
From the Raiders, right?
He was on the Vikings.
Vikings. Okay.
He got cut from the Vikings, an injury waiver, I think it was. But this is a guy who's a former quarterback who caught 40-plus balls in college every year and was at 15 yards a catch.
He's athlete.
So, and he tore up the combine last year or the year before. I forget which year he came out. But he was like a workout warrior guy. So I think that we might have stumbled upon something there. Remains to be seen, but that's interesting. I also think that Clyde Wolford, from the guy from the Raiders, he had some 30-plus catch seasons, 2 of them, and we're going to be able to see if that might fill an immediate need that we have there too. I don't know if a guy like Tomlinson is going to be able to stick around after we have.
They like the kid. I mean,
I like him too. I've never seen him make any glaring mistakes, and when they throw him the ball, he catches it.
He catches it.
And he had a nice. I saw, I think, at least 2 catch and runs that he got significant yardage on. And I was like, all right, look at this guy. I know he's looked at more as an inline blocker. He's a big guy, but every time he's been given the opportunity to make a play, he's kind of made it.
I think when they said that he started last year, the one time that he got that opportunity, he had more yards in that game than AESJ got in any game, one game.
No, that's I think that's Neil Sterling.
Oh, that was Neil Sterling. Yeah, okay.
I think
you're
they're higher on Neil Sterling.
You're probably right about
and
that.
Probably
that.
the potential of Leggett. So let's say that you're not going to carry 6 tight ends.
No.
Let's say you're going to probably draft somebody or sign a UFA. You have those 2 tight ends. You have Tomlinson. You have Neil Sterling, and then you have Enunwa, who's kind of like a hybrid, like H-back type of dude. So
he's everything.
So a couple of us have tight ends on our mock drafts. I don't know if a Tomlinson's going to be able to stick around in that room, or if Leggett, for that matter, if they don't see something out of Leggett this year, he might be a surprise cut. There's another guy that's in our that we signed as a futures guy that we haven't talked about at all, named Stringfellow. He was an Ole Miss receiver, played with the other guy that got drafted a couple years ago, Laquan Treadwell. They were on that same team. They tore it up a little bit. He's an interesting guy, 6'2", 225, like a big built wide receiver, and he has a little bit of a checkered past. Transferred from University of Washington after some criminal stuff, but some assaults, fights, or something like that. But he's an interesting guy to watch in that all of a sudden crowded 17-person wide receiver room that we have. So those are the highlights for me as far as the free agency period. I would say a B. I wouldn't give it the plus. I think that we got to see how some of these guys pan out before I'd give it that plus on the B side. But filling a lot of needs that we don't have to draft potentially.
And I think for me the plus was Plan A was Cousins. And that ended up going by the wayside, and to be able to scramble and get those 2 people, I think it was good.
Which 2 people?
Right.
Which 2 people? I want to hear it.
McCown.
Yeah.
McCown. And Bridgewater.
On Bridgewater.
And Bridgewater. So we'll see what we have in Bridgewater. I mean, it's
former Pro
TBD.
Bowler
Listen,
and first-round pick.
Yeah. So that was your plan. Was it your plan?
You know it was.
It was your plan.
You know it was.
It wasn't only your plan.
Quick shout out to Eagles fan Tim Brown, who's watching the podcast now.
I've been talking about Teddy
Kevin
Bridgewater
Smith.
since I don't know how long.
But to give credit where credit is due, their Plan A was my Plan A.
Right. But
So
it didn't work.
Their plan A, my plan A.
Exactly.
Okay.
Let's be clear.
All
Just
right.
didn't end up working out. He went elsewhere, but we were on simpatico.
Yeah, I hear you. See you later, cousins. It's all good.
I'm
yeah,
sure.
So I'll step up. So with regard to the free agency, I would give them probably a B, B plus, somewhere in that range. Maybe an 83 and a half.
A reluctant plus, huh?
Maybe an 82.
Let's cut it to the wide shot for this right here. Yeah.
The things that stand out to me on the negative side are our slot corner and our inability to get rid of who's our current slot corner? That's
it's Buster.
Buster
Scudine.
Right.
Scudine.
So that's a sore point for me.
Yep.
Also, not being able to acquire a tackle. I know we have Brandon Shell and
it was just nobody
James
out there,
Carpenter,
though.
but we don't have depth at that position, and I understand that. So, with the lack
Hold that
of
for him. Yeah.
with the lack of the
Just hold that for him.
depth on our line, we're gonna have to compensate somehow in the draft, but we don't have draft positions to acquire at the level that I believe we need to acquire. We'll talk about that when we talk about our draft projections.
So to your point, I just and I think we had this conversation a couple of pod sessions ago, but this just wasn't the year for the tackle.
For the tackle, no.
And
not
free
at all.
agency
No.
or the draft.
No.
There just wasn't enough talent there.
Right.
So, I can't really blame them if there's nobody out there.
Well, what I would say is if we didn't have to trade away our second round picks, then I would have definitely, would have liked to draft a couple of tackles or a couple of offensive linemen,
Probably guard would have been better.
guard
Center.
and or tackle in the draft.
No one
during the second
likes
round.
any of these tackles
what I'm
to
saying.
be
There's
like
just no talent.
a starting left tackle.
Mm-mm.
That's something that you read in these scouting reports over and over again.
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about from the aspect of drafting and then developing. I'm talking about from the aspect of depth, not necessarily drafting an A-rated left tackle or right tackle for that matter.
But if you're drafting somebody in the second round, that's not depth. That's a starter.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's where it kind of goes left a little bit with it, where if you're going to draft somebody, that's a fourth or a fifth rounder that you're going to develop. A second rounder, that's a plug and play. That's somebody who's going to start for you.
Especially on the
I
O
would
line.
probably agree.
Yeah,
with
It's
you.
not like it's a QB being drafted in the second round because that doesn't always translate
No.
Well,
into starting.
That's why those second round picks that we traded are really important. So it's kind of like McCagnon made the decision in order to go get the quarterback that the Jets want. He traded away two potential starters in the second round, and he found that, and we talked about this, Brandon, earlier, that maybe he said, I'm going to fill those two needs in the free agency
and
with a Williamson and possibly a Crowell.
And then if you look at his record thus far, and then just the record, the draft record of the Jets, we have not been doing well with second round draft picks anyway.
Hackenberg is the second round draft pick, right?
Yes, he is, and
Yes.
so is Devin Smith.
Oh.
And we only scored with May last year. So I think when we're looking for a franchise quarterback, the face of your franchise, I like the trade, and I think now it's just up to the Jets to make sure that we land the best quarterback in the draft. Hopefully that best quarterback, that we can see will be landing with us at number 3, even if the Browns pick whomever at 1. Hopefully that one that gets picked is not the best quarterback, and we have the opportunity to pick the best quarterback in this draft and have this guy just flourish and put people around him to allow him to do so, because I'm tired of this. I'm tired of it. I need Broadway Joe Part 2, and it can be, I'm not going to get into my mock draft yet. That's for our next segment. I'm going to have Kerry just finish off what he's doing and give his final grade of free agency, but that's where my headspace is.
And let me be clear, I'm not criticizing them for giving away the two second round picks. I'm actually
3. But go ahead.
Yeah, the other year.
Right, the other year, but
19.
And the ones that we acquired
3 starters
from Seattle. When we acquired from Seattle.
Not letting that one go.
But what I would say is that I'm glad that we're able to utilize them to move up in the draft. And to continue, with regard to the free agent grading, what I do see is a theme in terms of getting younger, acquiring those players that are after their first contract, like the Avery Williams, like the Kevin Pierre, Lewis, 26, 27 years of age, letting go Demario Davis, who's a little bit older, long
in the tooth, yes.
right? So, even a Spencer Long at 27 years of age, Isaiah Crowell. Look, these are guys that we are going to want to groom as, long-term Jets.
Yep.
Right? And I want to get back to that history of being able to, purchase a jersey where you're not just wearing it for a year and a half and you got to trade it back in.
That's always in the thought process.
I haven't purchased
Always.
a jersey with the name on it since.
You have the Pennington jersey,
Since
don't
the
you?
Pennington jersey.
That
Since
was
the
a solid
Pennington
buy,
jersey.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's a solid buy.
Wayne Corbett would have been a solid buy.
That's a solid buy.
Yeah.
Right.
Mo Lewis is a great buy.
So, but I purchased
But,
that after he left the team. As you
True.
can see,
Yeah.
that jersey was, one of the old jerseys.
Yeah.
Nick
the
Mangold.
throwback jersey.
Nick Mangold would have been a good buy.
Ferg, the brick.
Fergie.
Shout out to Nick Mangold retiring as a Jet.
That's
I like
true.
to see
Yeah,
that.
Awesome.
absolutely.
I like
Awesome.
to see
Yeah.
that.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And while we're doing shout-outs, we're going to switch lanes for like 10 seconds to MMA Long Island Zone. I just want to shout out Ray Longo, Team Longo, Sarah Longo. Aljamain scored a win last night in last night's UFC.
Okay.
So, yeah, man. So just supporting the Long Island products.
Longo, Weidman has that Baldwin Bruin connection with us.
Yes, he does.
He was a D end on the football team.
Yeah. We're a little older than him, but it's still there. The common thread is still there. He's a Baldwin Bruin. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So shouting out Bruins and Long Islanders just in general.
Me and Brandon were talking about if we did a segment, and obviously we don't have time to do it today, where we player comped draft picks to former Baldwin Bruin football players.
Yeah. Comparing like
this guy projects as a Rikiki.
Yeah.
little crazy, a little bit of a wild side.
Yeah, a little bit of a wild side,
But he is.
If they can channel that talent, we'll see what coach can do.
Projecting, in the first round as a Christian Rikiki clone.
Wow,
that would be crazy.
Yeah, that would be nuts. So, Kerry, what's your final grade? Did I miss that?
82.
You gave it a numerical grade. He
82.
said,
Wow.
I'm splitting hairs.
"Oh
82.
my gosh!"
Yes,
So is that what they got in
absolutely.
their final, or is that a midterm grade? It's a midterm grade. It's not their final. It's a midterm grade.
That's a midterm.
Midterm grade,
You know,
yeah.
Not quite
the
82.
final grade is not going to happen until the end of the season when we see how these guys perform.
That's
Absolutely.
true.
Not
That's
quite
true.
the dean's list for Mike McCagnon. But
It's not.
And
It's
I
not.
want to also applaud them for being able to bring back Morris Claiborne, who I
Yes.
like.
Me too.
And again,
Me too.
a young guy that can be a bookend with Jermaine Johnson on the other side. I mean, our secondary just looks good. Looks good.
It does.
Man, if we had just gotten the honey badger and added that
Oh,
to the
that would've been
Oh,
nice.
my
The honey
God.
badger.
Alongside.
I would love to be
alongside-
shouting out just honey badger. Hey, what about the honey badger? Well,
badger.
I would have so much fun with that name, the honey
Yeah.
badger.
Oh, you
Oh,
gotta love
forget
it.
about it. Yeah. And then if we had the muscle hamster with the honey badger,
Who is the muscle hamster?
that's I don't want him on my team.
The Tampa Bay running back.
Yeah, running back. He's no longer in Tampa
Oh,
anymore.
I know
What's
you're
his
talking
name?
about. Yeah.
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
hurt. He was hurt at the end of last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, before
Didn't
last
Odell
year.
Beckham have like a cousin that was on our roster, or somebody had a cousin that was on our roster that was brolic?
I don't know.
Like,
He was a running back.
Yeah.
And he looked like him.
But he was terrible. He didn't play
No.
any college football. He
No.
played
Oh,
high
he
school
didn't?
running back, but
Funny.
we signed him.
He probably played a lot of soccer. That's a soccer family too.
Cricket.
He played football instead of cricket, right?
Right. He was a significant.
What, you calling him Jamaican now?
No,
It's like I'm like,
South Asians play cricket too. It's
True, no,
big,
no,
big in
Yeah,
in
yeah.
South Asian.
It is.
He's back
South
pedaling
American
right now.
too,
He's
Caribbean.
backpedaling.
Yeah, he's back. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
So
Yeah.
what's your
So
grade?
what's
All
your
right, so
grade?
my grade. Okay, here we go. So basically, I'm willing to give the Jets free agency for this year a B. I love the acquisition of McCown, which I've been shouting out the entire time because I felt like we needed stability, we needed continuity, and I think he is a good quarterback and he offers leadership. And then I wanted Bridgewater because I did not want to pay Cousins all this money for just a number of reasons. But you guys know, and all you guys know as well, back at home, you guys can check some of the prior podcasts. And I just never wanted Cousins from day one. So I wanted, I wanted a chance to draft a quarterback because we already have a high pick. At that time, we had a number 6 pick, but now we've moved up to number 3. And I want one of the quarterbacks to set our foundation, create a foundation for our franchise through a franchise quarterback. So, and if that falls apart, we still have a former first rounder, a former Pro Bowler, a former quarterback that brought his team to the playoffs in Teddy Bridgewater. And then we also have a wily veteran in McCown who had success with a terrible team last year.
And
so I wanted that.
And I would say with the Bridgewater signing, one of the reasons why I gave it as high a grade as I did is because of the guaranteed money, or
Yes.
lack thereof.
Right.
So one of my concerns was he's going to go out in the street and want $10, $12 million or whatever because he thinks he's a starter. But because we didn't guarantee a lot of the contract,
Yeah.
definitely a great deal.
Yeah, and what is it, like 1.5? mil?
It's $500,000.
Yeah.
Oh my
Right.
gosh! Even
Yeah, it's 1.5 mil if he leads us to the playoffs and plays more than 50% of the snaps, I believe.
wow.
But I mean,
Right.
the base pay is low.
it's a great.
So what
deal.
that speaks to is his knee.
Well, we
It does.
talked about this on the chat that there must not have been a lot of suitors for Teddy Bridgewater
Nope.
because
Probably not.
I don't see why he would take that money. It seemed like that they didn't bid against themselves like we
Go on, take the money and run.
I think that Coach McCown's going to be a
That's
very good guy in the room.
Yeah.
Wow, him with the Coach McCown, huh? That's where you wanted him to be from the beginning.
He wanted him. Coach
I
McCown.
think Coach McCown is he's going to coach up Teddy and whoever comes in the room and you know
He just likes the Coach Mick anything reference because he's Coach McKenna.
Yeah, Coach
Funny.
Mack.
McCown.
Yeah,
Coach Mack.
Okay.
Coach Mack is gonna get him going.
And then, just to keep going here, I love the Williamson pickup because I was really sold on Demario Davis sticking with the team and staying with it because he had such a great year.
Mm-hmm.
I loved his leadership quality. But then when I checked the stats, they had Williamson ranked as the number 3 inside linebacker in all of football.
Pro Football Focus. did?
Yeah. And guess who was ahead of him? Bobby Wagner and Luke Kuechly.
Right.
That's great company.
Absolutely.
That's great company. Are you kidding me?
That's all. That's almost all pro.
Exactly.
Right there, yeah.
And he's only 26 years old, and I love the youth movement that we're on.
Cheap
So,
labor.
cheap
Terry
labor.
Taylor. Yep.
I love the Isaiah Crowell thing. At first, I was like, because
Right,
it's the Browns.
Cleveland, right.
Right.
Exactly. But you know what? He's a good running back. I watched him run,
Mhm.
and I was like, you know what? This guy, he's got good judgment. He knows how to hit the hole, and he was just on a bad team. So I like that, and he's young as well. Terrell Pryor, he's only 28 years old. He's a big target, end zone target, and he's super fast as well. I was down with that. I love the re-signing of Claiborne. I like his game.
Yep.
Is he the best cornerback?
Nope.
Nope. Is he a good cornerback? Absolutely.
Yep.
And he has some smoothness about him too. So
and now he's a number 2. So
now he's number 2. So
going
that
against
pressure's
different wide receivers. Yep.
Now the Tremaine Johnson thing, I really didn't want him, to be honest with you. I really didn't want him. I wanted to go with Malcolm Butler or one of the other cornerbacks. But since this guy was ranked, and guys that get paid a lot more money than I do, that's their job to rank these guys. They ranked him as the number 1 cornerback in free agency, and we got him. That's a good thing. That just shows that people, even though our Jets franchise isn't that great right now, at least they have the power to attract people. And, of course, money has a lot of power.
I was about to say,
Right? But still,
New York
sometimes
too. New
York too, right? But still, Kirk Cousins didn't come here. We could have offered him more money than where he landed with the Vikings. So I'm just saying, there's still the allure about this team that allows people to come here. So thank goodness for that. And I was like, okay, that's fine with me. And, just to keep it going, I also like the signings of just as far as battling it out and creating depth, the Long and the Swanson signings. Am I in love with it? No, because Swanson, I think, has some concussion issues, and Long, I think, may have some as well. But I know Swanson does. But Swanson is also a very good player when healthy. So we'll see where the chips fall. And then the signing of Roberts, we were talking about it off camera.
Yep.
Roberts is a good kick returner. We have a plethora of receivers now. I get that, but we'll just play the game of whittling things down.
That'll
but
take care of itself.
Exactly,
Yeah.
just playing the game of whittling things down. But it's better than having Jeremy Curley out there, who is a guy that catches the ball and doesn't do much afterwards as far as the kicking game is concerned.
Jeremy
we could have
Curley hasn't been on the Jets for a long time, and you really
He was he was there
was
last
there
year.
last
Yeah,
year.
he was there last year.
just for a minute.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
he was there for at least 5 games.
Yeah, and then he got suspended, and then he
Yeah.
never came back.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
could.
He got released.
that
he
went
got released
in
by,
through one ear and
San
out the other.
Francisco.
Yeah.
No, but he's a long-standing Jet, and then he played for San Francisco, and then he
Right.
came back
He
and
came
stuff.
back.
So he's still a part of the whole thing. But his body of work does not show that he is a good kick returner. We haven't had someone
Terrible.
since Leon Washington. Remember Leon Washington?
Oh, beast.
I loved him in the kicking game, punt or kickoff return, and I kind of would like to revisit that again. Of course, we all would, but I'm just saying, with the signing of Roberts, maybe we can see something like that. I think he's returned 2 kicks for touchdowns now, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
His numbers are tops. They're very, very good.
Okay.
As far as all around NFL returners.
Yeah. Good.
Opposite of JoJo Natson.
Let's do it.
I'm just
I
concerned.
never liked that name JoJo, by the way.
We could put together a whole team of offense and defense, and they'll all be wide receivers.
We can actually do that.
We could actually do that, right? It'd be all just wide receivers on offense and defense, all 22 players.
Right.
But my concern is who are you going to cut?
Right.
You know, we have the wide receivers we drafted last year.
Yeah.
You got a new
Devin
one.
Smith can go.
Devin Smith, okay.
All right.
It's open competition.
We could have a whole segment just on that.
Trying to think
Just talking about that. That might be
22 wide receivers.
Sorry, Devin.
the next podcast.
Yeah. Sorry, Devin.
We should move on to these
I don't
mocks.
know.
I'm jacked to give
But
these
hold
mocks.
on. But let me just go back to this, and then we're gonna move on. The reason why I only gave the Jets a B is because they did not adequately address the defensive line. So basically, the Big Cat is still kind of like by himself as far as not having anyone to complement his skill set to be an effective, super effective all-pro type of player that we're expecting him to be. They did re-sign, what's his name, Pinnell. He's more of a cog in the middle, like a nose tackle type, but we need someone on the other side, man.
Sure.
I wanted Coney Ely back, but for whatever reason, they didn't sign him.
That
and
boggles my mind.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
I don't understand that either.
The Cowboys didn't spend any money to sign him,
I don't get it.
and we have it.
I don't get it. So there is a hole there.
Yeah.
But overall, I think we had a very good, free agency period. But we really needed to address the D line. So keep going, McCagnon. You know, final judgment will not be rendered until this Thursday when we see who you draft, and then, you know, we were mad at you last year for getting May, and that worked out well. So we'll judge you a little bit, and then we're going to judge you as the season goes on. And then at the end of the 2018 season, then we're really going to exercise our judgment on you and see what's up. But proceed wisely, sir. Anyway, so
choose your steps.
Exactly.
wisely,
Yes. We are going to move on to our next segment, something that Captain Kyle McKenna, Big B, Brian, and Kerry, and myself have all been looking forward to. Guys, this isn't fantasy, but it kind of is a little fantasy. But we have our own respective mock drafts, okay?
That's right.
Most of us have them in big fonts, and one guy has them in this little tiny, like, 2-point font.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
So now
I feel like I'm getting my eyes tested right now.
So, guys, we're going to go full screen on this one, and we're going to check out our mock drafts. Who's this? Who's this one right here?
You know who it is.
Woo! All right.
You know who it is. All right.
It's Mike Mayock.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
You got 10 minutes. You on the clock.
You're on the clock.
All right. So listen. Number 1, Baker Mayfield. Right. And let me give credit to Pro Football Focus. They have 100 draft eligible prospects. Baker is number 1.
Wow.
Number 1. All right. So let me read. I'm going to read straight.
Go for it. Do it.
From a pure production standpoint, Mayfield has been in another class. And he has the necessary NFL tools despite questions about his height. He owns the 2 top PFF grades since 2014 and possesses the arm accuracy and playmaking ability to be the best quarterback in the class. Mayfield has posted the lowest percentage of negatively graded throws in the nation for 2 straight years, and he led the draft class in big-time throw percentage last season. Let me just stop there.
I love it.
Right?
I love it.
Your Pro Football Focus, they must have like a room full of nerds working 24 hours a day.
24 hours a
on
day,
this
man.
stuff. This is
Oh,
like
analytics.
Killing it.
so.
Analytics, baby.
So again, Baker Mayfield is my guy. I think he's head and shoulders better than all the other quarterbacks in this draft, and
Head and shoulders, huh?
I do.
Knees and toes, knees and toes.
Knees and toes.
Anybody have kids out there? I'm sorry.
Yeah, we all do.
That's right.
Carrie's such a jerk.
So definitely, I think Baker is our guy. Darnold looks like he may drop, which I'm scared of.
I want him.
I know you do.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allen, I mean, forget about it. I don't even know why the guy's in the conversation.
Who?
I think he's in that top 100.
Yeah.
He's like 72 or something like that. It's some crazy number.
Which is why Cleveland's looking
Right.
at him.
So, but anyway, I'm going to continue on because I got other players up here on the board that we're going to talk about. Now, I would have loved to, and I have a trade in here. I would love to trade back into the second round if I could.
Over there playing fantasy, huh? Trade?
Yeah,
You
absolutely,
trade?
absolutely.
All right, let's go for it. I love it.
If I could have traded, I just couldn't find the value. But if I could have traded, I would have traded back
It's hard to find the value.
for Billy Price, center, Ohio State.
Yep.
That would have been somebody I would have traded back into the second round.
He's the one that was hurt.
Yeah, he's the one that was hurt.
Tore his
Pec.
pec muscle. Yeah,
Exactly. So
I checked up on him like right before yesterday before we came onto air, and he's going to be ready to go for training camp.
So he's
Also,
only going to fall. He'll only fall
he's
one
not
round.
falling. He's not
at
falling.
best.
He's not going to fall at all.
Gotcha.
He's
Right.
going to be the first guy off the board center wise.
Well, they had him in the second round, probably late second as of right now. So we'll see where he ends up. But anyway, I just stayed where we were in the third round and picked Mark Andrews, tight end, Oklahoma, 22 touchdowns over the last 3 years. He's worked with Baker, obviously, so security blanket over the middle. Not really a blocker, but not very many tight ends coming out of the draft can do both anyway. So good slot receiver. Used to be a wide receiver in high school, so got hands. Fourth round, Shaquem Griffin. I mean, feel good story, my man.
Yeah.
And what did you say earlier? 4.38.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 4.38.
Well, you met
So,
him this week, right?
Yeah, I had the honor of meeting Shaquem Griffin this week on the show that I work on. And cool guy, man. So I go in to meet him. I let him know who I am. I'm like, hey, Shaquem, I'm Brandon Phillips. Da-da-da-da. We're going to have you on. Da-da-da. And he's like, okay, great. And then, I look at him. And then as we're walking to the studio, I'm like, what are you doing over there running that 4.38? And then he looks at me and he goes, that's fast, right? I'm like, you daggone right, that's fast. So, yeah, he was a cool dude. And what I like about him is that, yeah, it's a feel-good story. That's fine, and that's great. There's a lot of feel-good stories out there, and I love and respect it. But the man's a football player.
Got talent, man.
He's a football player.
Talent.
And I love the fact that he does what he does, and he can do what he can do with the, quote, handicap. But he's one of those people that he jumps over hurdles, right? He overcomes, and I have so much respect for that. And he's just he's a baller. So I'm gonna let you continue on, B, because I have him in mind as well, and I'll talk about it further.
Yeah, absolutely. So just to hop back to Mark Andrews, number 45 on that list. All right, and then Shaquem is 74. So definitely value for both of those players in round 3.
You think he'll be there at 3
that's
though?
another question.
Yeah.
Mark. I think Mark is going to be there in the third round.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned some things that were out
he's
there.
trending a little down with some of the scouts, and I think that with a lot of the fact that the draft is in May and not April. No, it's in late April now.
They pick you apart.
Yeah, they're picking him apart, but they're saying that he runs out of bounds too easily.
Come on, that's
he's
coachable.
afraid of contact and stuff like that. But that's
You don't get this
You
far
watch the
without
film.
being a football player at this point.
No,
Come
no.
on.
That's how LaDainian Thomason extended his career by running out of bounds instead of trying for an extra half a yard.
There's lots of arguments you make.
Yeah.
All right.
you.
So going back to this, so fifth round, this is my trade, right?
Trade on the board.
My philosophy this year is
Come on, KRS. What are you trying to announce?
That's right.
Philosophy. Wow.
South
There
Bronx,
you go.
baby.
Right.
So the philosophy for me was to try to limit how many picks we have, but get quality players.
Yeah.
So if we can package the 6th and the 7th, which is what we didn't do last year, we drafted a whole bunch of
Kept on trading back.
quantity
trading back,
does
trading
not
back.
mean quality.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely
So-
not.
So I figured let's trade back
Preach.
into the 5th round, see what we can get, and John Kelly was there. So John Kelly ranked 3rd in forced missed tackles in college football last year with 40.
So he's a jitterbug. He can.
That's right. And
Cut
he's
on him.
gonna cut on you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
So he-
jitterbug.
That's right. So he's definitely going to cut on you. So I figured, hey, trade back up 5th round, grab him, and add him to the talent we have at running back. You can always use a good running back and see where you end up. And then also in the 5th round, a project, Alex Kappa, offensive tackle, Humboldt State.
Where's that?
It's D2 California.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Gotcha.
That's coach. That's coach.
Coach. Yeah, there you go. That's coach talk. Love it.
Coach and captain.
Yeah.
So what I read up on, first of all, the Jets brought him in for a visit.
Okay.
All right. So
He was in the
definitely on the
senior.
radar.
He played in the Senior Bowl too.
Senior Bowl.
Yeah.
Definitely did a great job in the Senior Bowl. Obviously, it's D2. So, but he was dominant.
Do you happen to
D2
have
level.
his measurables on that?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't. But
Is
you
it
know,
like
we'll
a
circle around.
6'5",
and bring it
3?
up.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
But definitely somebody that we could. And again, Kerry, 5th round project. offensive tackle,
Right.
and then you could bring him in, see where you end up.
Sure.
Diamond in the rough, maybe you end up with a left tackle, but he's definitely nasty. He's definitely somebody that you could bring in and work with. So I felt like, again, I can get a 6th and a 7th rounder and like, are they talented players or whatever? But John Kelly is a talented player, and you can grab him in the 5th round. And you remember what Kamara was?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
For New Orleans. So and he's out of Tennessee as well.
Okay.
Alex Kappa is 6'7", 305.
Dag.
24 reps on the bench press, 26-inch vertical, with the 5'3" in the 40, which is actually pretty good for a
That's
tackle,
actually,
right?
you know what, those
Offensive
reps, and like, would you say 23 or 24 reps?
24.
He's 6'7", so
Right,
that's
his
a
arms are like
so it's
right,
not
the
so
length
bad.
of the leg,
At first I frowned and I was like, but then it's
and that's great length for an offensive tackle.
Absolutely.
That's
Your
a
arms
great
around
place
him.
to pick him too. 5th round. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're
Yeah.
Project
make a project out of him.
value.
Absolutely. So
Cool.
that's my draft, baby.
Mr. Engineer, let's swipe to the next one. Let's see who's up next. It's the
Brandon.
kid. All right. All righty. All right. So this is my mock draft, everyone. In the first round, of course, I've been shouting out Baker Mayfield from day one. But he's my number one. But my 1A is Josh Rosen. He's
This
been
is
kind of climbing up for me a
Total
little
hedge
bit.
move.
It's
that
a hedge
you're
move?
doing there.
Yeah. Listen,
Brandon the Hedger.
But look.
You got to commit.
He's betting on one
gotta
to
commit,
win and
right?
one to
Just
show.
don't call
in
me
the
a
third race.
hedgehog. I'll be offended.
Right.
No comment, Kerry. All right. So Baker Mayfield, you guys know I love him. First of all, I want my quarterbacks to be leaders, motivators, accurate, as well as being able to think on their feet. And I think that Baker Mayfield has all of those qualities.
Has it all.
And he's got the moxie that I love. Give me a little attitude. Let's create an identity for our franchise.
Yep.
Okay? So I would love for Baker Mayfield to be picked by the Jets at number 3. If they decide, or if they decide not to pick him, I'll be disappointed. If he's not there or available, I'll be disappointed. Hopefully, if that happens, Josh Rosen is there. Josh Rosen reminds me of a young Aaron Rodgers in the sense of the way that he throws the ball, the way that he can make every throw. So can Mayfield, but it's coming out differently.
Right.
And his poise in the pocket. He's just not as mobile as Aaron Rodgers, but I do like the guy, and I like his decision making. Now, the whole thing, they're saying that he might be slipping because of his attitude. He's the guy that had a jacuzzi in his dorm room, by the way, at UCLA.
Who wouldn't?
That's
Yeah,
smooth.
that's what I'm saying.
smooth,
Like,
right?
if I had that opportunity, I would do the same thing, too.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially if my parents paying for it. What you want?
And here's another thing that bothers me. They're saying that the NFL always wants you to go all in and commit, and I totally get that. But also, we're human beings. We have our passions, we have our work, but we have other passions as well, I like what I do for a living, but I'm here as well doing this because I love this as well. I don't have to be locked in,
And he's a 20-year-old kid.
And he's a 20-year-old kid, and he they're saying that he comes from a more affluent background. So they're saying that could potentially take away. So now you're making judgments on people who come from affluent backgrounds. So basically, the only people that will commit are people that come from, say, more meager beginnings. That's like, no, it's about the love in general. So don't do that to the kid.
Right.
All right, if the kid is well off, good for him.
Right.
God bless you.
Right.
Let me see how you play. Hopefully you love playing for the team, and let's go.
Right.
So there's no reason to just start projecting that sort of nonsense. So I don't believe, if those are the reasons, and that's what they're saying is why he's starting to fall, I don't believe in that. Just cut it out and let's play football.
Well, sometimes there's other teams putting that out there who want to draft him.
That
as
is
well.
true.
Absolutely.
That is true. So it's a game, right?
Yeah,
New England.
absolutely.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah,
New
New
England.
England. Oh, yeah. It's all over the wire in New England. Forget it.
Totally New England would do that. Yeah, man. And then since we do not have a second round pick, as we were talking about, but we've been striking out with that up until May last year anyway. I love this kid, James Daniel. He's a center from Iowa. I was talking to Kyle about this earlier. He doesn't think that he will be there, but
I don't either.
You know what?
But it would be a great pickup.
It would be a great pickup.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
here's the thing. I think with Billy Price, who will get picked before.
Maybe not.
Well,
But go ahead.
yeah,
Go ahead.
he may get picked before. That center from Arkansas too.
Ragnow.
Ragnow. He's a beast as well. And then you have James Daniel. I look at all three of those guys as virtually the same. I think they're interchangeable. I think either one could be just as good as the other. And just the way that they're ranking them now, I just don't see. I think one of them will be available, or I'm hoping that one of them will be available at the 72nd pick, and I'm hoping it's James Daniel because I think that the value that some of these teams are putting on them, they're going to go with Price first and then with Ragnow second. And I'm hoping at 72, Daniels will be there. He's an athletic center. He can move around. He kind of reminds me of Kevin Mawai. He is about 295 pounds, which is a little bit less than you wanted to be. But Kevin Mawai played at 289, and he's a Hall of Fame center.
Sure.
And center is really just about leverage and snap the ball, get that leverage, and being able to direct traffic. You're the captain or the leader of the O-line as far as giving them information of blocking schemes, et cetera.
Yeah.
And you are working hand in hand. If the quarterback is Batman, then the center is Robin.
Yeah.
So
that's a really good way to put it.
exactly.
Who's
so
the Joker then?
that's the other team. That's
Okay.
that's Bill Belichick.
Mike Singletary.
Yeah. No, it's Bill Belichick, man. Everything evil is Bill Belichick. We're Jets fans, and Tom Brady.
The evil regime.
Yeah,
That's right.
exactly. Commie team. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
Cold War. You're getting Cold War.
Yeah, I'm
Right,
getting
right,
Cold War,
right.
right? Well, he said evil regime, so I was just going with the evil empire thing. But anyway, and then in my fourth round, Shaquem Griffin. If you look at this, we have not addressed the outside rush. The edge. And a lot of those guys have flown off the board. I looked him up, and he is slated to go in the 4th or 5th round. So I'm going to bump him up to the 4th so that we can get someone that we know has 4.38 speed, someone that we know can rush the passer, someone that makes plays. And
He makes plays.
the kid makes plays,
He
bro.
makes plays.
And he was making plays against like really good talent, like Auburn and some of these other top-notch schools. And he's even picking off balls, and he has one hand. So I like this guy. He is a self-motivator, probably because of his handicap. He has to be. And I love that. And he loves the game of football. And honestly, I'm a little biased now because I met him in person this past week. He's a really nice guy. He's a really nice dude. And I think he's going to be a good pro. And we can put him out there. So now, okay. So we have Jenkins, right? Jenkins, who's our outside kind of strong side linebacker, setting the edge on that side. We have
Molden.
What's that?
Molden.
Yeah, we have Molden. But now I'm just going like if we're playing a 3-4.
You're going across.
I'm going across.
Okay.
And we have now Williamson, who's our like thump linebacker, who's going to just be thumping it up. We have our weak side pursuit linebacker, taking care of all that garbage
Darren
that
Lee.
slides through, Darren Lee. And then maybe we have this guy, along with Malden, right? Maybe
Right.
Malden will develop more, rushing that passer. This
Right.
kid runs a 4.38. He can drop back as well. There has been some talk about him maybe playing like another like hybrid safety type of position.
Mm-hmm.
He's only like 6'1", 230, like 228 actually.
He's got to be able to cover tight ends and slot receivers
he
and
can.
stuff like that.
Definitely can. He definitely can.
I
He's
mean,
much more. He's much more suited
To
for
do that,
that than
yeah.
he is for rushing the passer.
I think he can do both.
He's a
Definitely.
ball hawk. And he's a
I
ball hawk.
I
he
think-
can receive.
Yeah, and the thing that's in question though is his ability to set the edge, because he's a little lighter,
Right.
and then he's only has one hand. So I'll give him the chance to do that. But as far as covering, pursuit tackling, rushing the passer, I think he can do all of that, and I love him there at the 4th in the 4th round.
Absolutely.
I love it. And then moving on to the 5th, R.J. McIntosh, big D lineman from Miami.
You stole it.
Huh?
What? You stole it?
I stole his
Stole
thing. Get
my
out of
stuff,
here.
man. Oh, my gosh.
That's why I
I
said,
like
Brandon,
this guy.
Can't
No.
look at the draft before we send him in.
No, look at this. You see this guy? Yeah. But you know what? When I get to the 7th, none of y'all took that, though. How about that? But anyway,
No, I love that pick.
yeah, man.
Mm-hmm.
He's a big boy, plays at Miami. And I think he's around like 6'4", 6'5", like 310 pounds, takes up a lot of space.
Absolutely.
And they said that he can also play the 5 technique or the 3 technique
Right.
as well,
Love
which
the
I love.
versatility.
Give me the versatility. That's basically like a poor man's big cat who can do the same thing. Let's complement one another. Let's play some football.
Right.
That would be crazy if he was Peter Tosh's son, and my University of Miami had Bob Marley's son and Peter Tosh's son.
Rohan Marlin, Peter Tosh.
But I'm creating false narrative.
More
Yes.
fire.
He is not. RJ McIntosh is not.
Yeah.
Peter Tosh is the Red
I
Racer
told you.
X.
I told you.
brethren.
You
The
just like to
brethren.
Mick anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the Irish.
It's the Irish.
Right,
It's all
he's gonna
good.
make-
I shout out my Jamaican stuff all the time, so get love, man.
Well,
It's
that's
all
a
right.
Jamaican shout out too. Kind
Yeah,
of.
yeah, it is. It is.
McIntosh is very Jamaican.
Very true.
Yes, yes.
What
Especially if his name was Donovan or something.
Right, let me piggyback on McIntosh because he's
Yeah,
in my thing too.
please-
so
please
we
do,
won't have to
please
do it
do.
again. He played 70% of the snaps on his team, and to me, availability is about ability. So, and he was, I think he's a 2-year starter, a 4-year, I think either a 3 or 4-year contributor, and to me, that says a lot, especially at Miami.
Definitely.
Nice. Yeah. In Miami's program, it's turned around. Remember there was an era when it was just like everybody wanted
Yeah.
to, and
The
then
U.
it kind of fell the U,
The
and
U.
then it fell
Yeah,
off
yeah.
for a minute.
Yeah,
It's
baby.
kind of coming back up, man.
Turnover chain.
Yeah.
Totally, yeah.
Mhm.
So now I was speaking to Kyle about this earlier. Round 6, I saved my Ian Thomas, Indiana tight end pick. Kyle's like, this guy will not be there, and I do believe you, but I'm being hopeful. I saw in other rankings that he could be there in the 5th or 6th. They were leaning more towards the 5th, but I'm like, hopefully, at 179.
You never
he
know
could
what's
be
going to
there.
happen in the
You
6th
never
round.
know.
All of these rounds are subjective.
You never
as far
know.
as where people
You
are
never
going.
know.
Yep.
And-
He's definitely trending up though. Like Daniel Jeremiah gave him a really good grade and kept talking about him, and since then I've heard a lot of things about him maybe going earlier because of all the things that he brings to the table,
Right.
inline blocking and receiving threat.
Okay.
Went to Nassau Community.
Oh,
okay.
yeah, he went to
Yeah.
Nassau, huh?
Yep.
Shout out to
Wow.
Nassau
Played
Community.
for Joe Acevet, who's now
Okay.
one of the quality control coaches at Tennessee.
Gotcha.
Um,
Nice.
But
Yeah,
he-
Nassau has a great program.
They
Yeah.
still have.
Yeah,
They've
they got a
always had a
great
great
program,
program. Yeah. And then after that, my 7th round pick, Dimitri Flowers, son of Eric Flowers, who was a former 1st round draft pick, defensive lineman, fullback at Oklahoma. And I'm kind of old school as far as the run game is concerned. I always feel like the run game works more efficiently when you have a fullback, and also the passing game too. You get in a pro set, you have the tailback and the fullback in there, and you drop back. One goes out, and one stays in to block. I watched some film on this kid, and I also Googled him up. I Googled him up to see who the best fullback is in college. His name just kept on popping up. And then I watched him run the ball in short yardage situations. The kid has a little quick twitch thing about him. He's not super duper fast. He's like 248 pounds, around 6 foot or 6'1". But he doesn't need to be that. He's also an H back, full back. He can go in line. He can split out.
Can he catch?
Yes, he can catch.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
He caught a lot of balls from Baker Mayfield.
Exactly.
If you watch a lot of the
I
Baker
think I saw
Mayfield,
a couple of them. Yeah.
Yeah, you watch all the Baker Mayfield highlight films that we've watched up to this. He's in a lot of the highlights.
Yeah. So now I know that we kind of basically we have so many receivers. We usually carry what, 6 receivers, maybe 5
On the 53 man
on the
roster,
53, because
Good question.
a lot of the times lots of teams don't use fullbacks. They'll use a
Gotta
D
carry
lineman.
6. Got to carry 6.
I think we can carry 5, boot 1, so that we can carry this fullback, because he's not just a fullback. He's an H-back. He can line up in line or split him out. He can pass block. He can catch. He can do everything. And 4th and 1, give it to him if you don't want to give it to one of your tailbacks.
And it mitigates the tight end blocking or lack thereof that we have
Right.
on the roster.
And he can block.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So, you can have him in there and he's blocking or whatever, setting the edge, whatever. Defensive end comes off, boom, hit him. Or obviously the linebacker up the middle. So you have that person as the extra blocker.
Absolutely. And basically, to get him with the 235th pick in the 7th round, that's a steal.
It's a steal.
That's a steal, because if we get him there, he's making the team. And he's going to be, hopefully, coaching-wise now, he can be used in a place that will just allow him to do his thing, because he's killing 3 birds with 1 stone. So that's what I have to say about that, and in my mock draft. So we can grade our mock drafts. I get the A. Okay.
Grade our own.
Kerry gets the F.
I didn't do it yet.
Brian gets the D+. No, I'm just saying, just in general.
Brandon gets the H for hedge.
For hedge.
For non-committal.
Right.
I'm committing to Baker Mayfield.
I'm gonna put
from day one.
So for every round, I'm gonna put 3 potential picks.
Oh, shut up.
So I'm
Get
gonna
out
do
of here.
that. So
multiple choice.
Right. Absolutely.
Look, listen,
27
you can
picks.
even see it. Folks at home, if you happen to look at the full screen of this mock, if you happen to, it says parentheses, I'm happy with either one. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
But look, I have Baker
And you spelled it right
Mayfield
too, bro.
first. Of course I spelled it
He
right.
didn't spell edge right.
I'm not.
That's a funky way of looking at edge. Right?
Wow. Good call, Kyle. Good call. Egged.
No, he's saying what I wrote in
That's
parentheses.
edge/DE.
No, he's saying what I wrote in parentheses is another spelling of edge.
I knew it was a misspelling somewhere. I mean,
whatever. I'm not hooked on phonics like you.
Now you're getting.
Here's the proof. Spell
Take
check.
it personal. Take it personal. All right, who's up next? What do we have, Mr. Engineer? Swipe to that right there. See what we have.
Swipe right.
Who's
Let's
next?
just shout out to
Oh.
Luke the engineer. Let's give a shout out
you
to
know-
Luke the engineer.
Hey,
'cause
you know why I know he
you can
cheated
see him
off
in the
me?
mirror
You
shot.
see, that's
a little
true.
bit. You gotta
That's
be-
true.
You know why I know he cheated
I
off
just like
me?
breaking the fourth wall and just saying it.
Hey man, you know.
I
it's
know
all
I know
good.
Brandon cheated off me because I spelled edge wrong, and he just copied and pasted my whole thing.
Oh,
Funny.
the fruit.
Funny.
Well,
I did that on purpose.
Wow.
Shut up! I don't want to hear it.
No,
I don't want to hear it.
hold
I don't wanna hear it.
Wow.
Control
Wow.
C,
Hold
Control
on.
X.
Well, okay. No, you know what though? I'll tell you what I did not get wrong. I did not get wrong my 5th round draft pick. He's got it in the wrong spot, 148. So I did
It's
something right.
157. It's 157.
Pretty sure
Thank
that,
you.
guy,
So-
that guy's
so-
name is
yeah.
Malik
Yeah,
too,
is it
not
Milk or Malik?
So like
No, his mother spelled it like that.
Malcolm.
That's right.
I'm kidding. His mother didn't spell it like that. I meant.
Stop talking about his mother. Chill, man. You need to no.
Oh, seriously, we gotta stop being so funny. I drank too much water before.
Right.
This podcast.
And guys, look,
Over there
this- what I-
bubbling and doubling.
what I must express as a layman in terms of draft and mock drafts. I don't know. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I don't know all of these players, guys.
I don't either.
I don't watch that. I watch a lot of college football, but not to the extent where I'm going to know all of these guys. So I use an analytic approach, right?
Sure.
So the analytic approach is, what are the things that are going to drive you to look at these guys? And my things are need, right? What are our needs? The conference that they play in, whether they're a 3 or 4 year starter, and it's not necessarily in the order of importance.
Mm-hmm.
What type of contributor were they on the field as well as off the field? Were they hurt? Was there an injury as to why they're going to be dropping and being drafted in a lower as a lower draft pick? And the other things that I look at are speed, versatility, and are they a leader? Right. So what popped out at me again is Sam Darnold, USC quarterback. I don't have to explain myself with this, so I'm not going to.
What?
He is a good quarterback.
He is a
man.
good quarterback,
Yeah.
and I understand
I
why
agree.
a lot of the pundits are listing him as the number 1 quarterback. As why Cleveland is going to pick them up, and if they don't pick him up, then they're saying the Giants might pick him up. But there are so many mock drafts that have so many different players going 1, 2, 3 that it's impossible to predict. Because you don't necessarily know who's going to be there. But if he is there at 3, then I want Sam Darnold.
So, why? If you're comparing and contrasting him, career, stats, on the field, leadership qualities, interceptions, turnovers, all that kind of stuff, and you're grinding it up, why is he your number 1 versus somebody like who I?
Because I think a lot of the things that I don't like are disqualifying some of the other quarterbacks. I think some of the things that I don't like about Baker Mayfield are disqualifying him as my number 1 quarterback. I think some of the things that are disqualifying Josh Rosen are why I am not putting him as number 1. I think the things
Darnold's athletic too. He's pretty.
Yeah,
He's mobile. I think he runs like a 4.7.
No, he's
But
good.
what I would say is if I got any of these 3 guys, I would be happy. But I would be happiest if I got Sam Darnold.
So the thing that
It's a borderline hedge. That's kind of what I was doing. I just wrote mine down. He just articulated it verbally.
Right, but I wrote it down. I put it in pen.
he committed, He committed. He committed.
I did make a commitment.
No, you didn't.
But I would like both. I'd be happy with everything under the sun.
Right.
So
right,
my thing with this is that in this whole
Everybody on Facebook Live, watch this nonsense. Come on, man.
Shut your mouth.
So-
Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth.
So my thing is during this draft process, they have a lot of players there at quarterback, and he has the least amount of negatives. That seems to me to be what the case is.
Solid citizen.
Solid.
Yeah.
He's solid. He's he's a good in the locker room.
Yes, sir. No, sir.
Not incredible in the locker room, but good in the locker room. Nobody can say anything bad about him besides the the footwork.
Donald talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Besides the
Which can
footwork,
be-
a little
which-
hitch,
right,
a little
which can
hitch in
be
his
corrected.
throw. Everything.
He turns the ball over.
an awful lot.
Yeah.
And he holds it like a loaf of bread.
Yeah.
So, and that's a problem.
Right.
That's a on the
That's
field.
a tendency. That's a tendency
serious
that can be corrected. Yeah,
problem. So, and that's where I feel like they put him as number one because of the fact that he has the least amount of negatives. I
Well,
mean,
what-
is there some
right.
validity to that?
I
I
understand
think
that,
so.
but my thing is that the last set of quarterbacks that we have drafted, the last 3 set of quarterbacks we have drafted, have had negative things surrounding them. And I want to be a little bit safer with regard to who we draft at this position because we haven't had the success that we need. I see him as a Chad Pennington with a stronger arm.
He has a very quick
He's a-
release too.
Yes, he is, and he's a cerebral quarterback. He's a good leader, and I just see him as a safe bet. Again, but what I would say to you is, if we get him at 3, I'd be happy. If we got the other 2 quarterbacks that we target, that you guys will all also address or have addressed, I wouldn't be unhappy with it, right? But I don't want to spend as much time on him. I want to talk about the other ones that I looked at.
Go for it.
In the 3rd round, Jamarco Jones. Again, you know that I'm high on our line, and with regard to Brandon Shell and Kelvin Beachum, we need to have some depth. I would pick up Jamarco Jones. And adding a player like this, again, this guy is from Ohio State, so there's a pedigree there. I want him. As far as the 4th round pick, Chad Thomas, this guy is an edge, again, from Miami. Defensive line, it's been hard for us to generate any type of pressure from the weak side or the strong side, for that matter. So that's why he's my pick. Malik Reeves from Villanova. This guy's got something to prove. We need another defensive back, especially for depth.
This is the first I've really heard of him. Was he in the combine?
Villanova. No, he was not invited
wasn't
to
invited.
a combine. He was not invited to a combine.
I don't know much about him.
He's a safety / corner. He's got, like I said, he's got good size. He's 6 foot 200 pounds. He's hungry. He wants to play. At this point, the way he feels. I watched a few interviews with him, read a few things on him. He's a leader. He's been there for 4 years at Villanova. They've got an up and coming program. I like him. I like him.
That's trending now, by the way. Lots of hybrid cornerbacks / safeties, kind of like Minka. Kind of like this, you know, that's trending right now.
Right.
Yeah.
As far as we talked about R.J. McIntosh, so since Brandon stole my pick, I don't really have to discuss it.
Well, look at your draft right here, and that's the only pick where it's identical to mine.
I'm messing with you, buddy.
I know
Shut
that,
up.
but
So
He's still sensitive, right? This guy's so sensitive.
It's like, ow, stop it, leave me alone.
What up, Steve Levy?
Next one, Chris Herndon.
Can I get a single on me real quick? Here's my reaction shot. Here's my reaction.
Platypus.
Yeah. We're going to flush him down the toilet.
Platypus beaver. Shut up. Go ahead. Keep going.
And my
jerks.
last guy is Chris Herndon, Miami tight end. There's some concerns about him because he hurt his knee. But this guy is a flat-out ball player, 6'4", 245. He likes to block. He's an inline blocker when necessary, but he is extremely athletic. I've seen a lot of video on him. Again, as you can see, I have 3 Miami guys on my board. And again, the way this game works is, look, it's like Christmas time back in the day when we were going through our Sears catalog. And we were
Jets
like,
Huffy Bike.
right. We were like, yo, dude, I want this from mommy and daddy. You know, I want this go-kart. This go-kart. What'd you get? You got G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip. So you going to get what you get
Right.
We're gonna ask for the moon, right?
Right.
So that's my approach.
You want that Red Ryder BB gun with the
Boom,
scope
baby.
on it, right?
You heard me. You heard me. I want the Atari.
This wasn't on my list. Underwear wasn't on my list.
No, it wasn't. Why did I get 6 pair? Why did I get 6 pair and I asked for 1?
I used to always get the slippers. I open one present on Christmas
Right.
Eve.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
would always be
yeah.
the slippers.
J.C. Penney catalog, boy, bring it back. Bring
guy-
it back.
This guy called out my Obi-Wan Kenobi robe on Christmas morning when I was on my Jets bike, killing me. You know, that was a great day in Jets history right there. At least in Brandon Phillips Jets history.
Old Obi-Wan Kenobi.
It was
not,
the
yeah.
old wait.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It was the old one.
Yes.
It was the terry cloth?
Let's
Gray
classify
hair.
that. Yeah, absolutely.
It was
Gray
the
hair
one
though.
right before I got sliced by Darth
Oh,
Vader.
yeah,
It was the
absolutely.
one when I just like gave up. I let
It was
Luke
a
go.
brown robe like that.
Yeah.
Had the stain on the collar.
It had the hood.
Yeah.
These aren't the George you're looking
Oh,
for.
man.
He had it on since he went into exile. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? He had it
right,
on for a long time.
Oh man.
Boom.
Man, you talk about Ben Kenobi. He lives out in
Right.
by
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Jawas
Out east.
and
Right.
the Tusken
right.
Raiders.
Yeah.
Hey, guys and girls at home, they're killing me right now.
Right. We will continue.
I love it.
We
It's
will
so good. I love
continue.
it. I can take it.
Go ahead, Mac.
Yeah. All right. So, hey, listen.
Okay.
So, I'll let you guys hop in and join the little Facebook chat. Who had the best draft?
Wait.
I'm
We
ready.
We
We're
still
not done.
got Mac.
We
We
got-
still got Mac.
my bad. I'm on. Okay.
Best-
We got the
best is yet to
boss.
come.
We got the boss,
Oh,
man.
yeah, Baton
Let's
Rouge.
go,
Here we
boy.
go.
That's right.
I'm ready to end it and just walk
Put
out
it
here
up.
with an A.
Put it up.
He was about to kill his day right there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's been waiting 3
No.
months to do this.
What do you
Kyle
mean?
McKenna. Put up
What do
the
you mean
Kyle
it's over?
McKenna.
Get your life.
What do you mean it's over? I've been waiting to do this my entire life. You're absolutely right.
Where's your asset?
It's coming.
Oh, it is.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So the big thing with my mock here is production. A lot of it on the bottom end has to do with production. We talked a little bit about the sacrifice of the second round picks for the choice of quarterback to move up to 3. I really want to emphasize the fact that I think that choice means any edge rusher you're going to get in this draft is a project,
Yep.
because if you're going to pick a quarterback with the first pick, those edge rushers had to come out of that second round,
Yep.
or else they're projects. So, to preface this whole thing, that's the way I looked at it. So, I went a different direction for my my edge rusher late round picks. The other thing I'm going to say is, talking about Brian's trade up to get the 2 fifth round picks rather than the 6th and the 7th. Whereas I totally understand that. I think there's a lot of value to the round 6, round 7 picks when it comes to undrafted free agents, because if you like a guy and you want to pick him, you can lock that in and not have to bid against somebody else for their services, as if they were going to become a UFA. So keep that in mind as we go through this. So
not to step on you,
Yeah.
but I think one of the reasons, just to give it some, context, is also the GM we have in mechanics.
right.
If I trusted him to dig through the crates and find a gem in the 6th and 7th round, he can't even find a gem in the 2nd round, right?
You got that right.
So that's where part of my rationale as to let's package and move up in order to get somebody who may be a little bit better at an earlier round. But go ahead.
Yeah. So no, what I'm saying is that there's
I'm with
relevance in both philosophies.
Absolutely.
In my opinion.
you. Absolutely.
So, my quarterback selection, I kind of got into a deep hole with this. I started looking up stats on guys in high school. The real Josh Allen really
He went down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, Josh Allen really went out the window for me when I looked up his junior college stats, and he was a 49% passer in junior college. Didn't like that at all.
Done.
So he was
Jimbo.
completely off my list. And I watched like the scouts supposedly watched 3 game films on each player. Watched 3 game films, and Josh Rosen is the guy that I like the most, as far as for a lot of the reasons people have already mentioned. I'm not really scared off by his personality.
Nor am I.
Nor am I scared off
Me
by
neither.
what Jim Mora has to say about him. I mean, come on.
He's
Jim Mora,
Angostura bitters.
he's
That's
so
what he is,
bitter.
Jim Mora.
He's working in the NFL
Little dance
network, and I don't know why he had to throw jabs at him. It didn't make any sense.
That's more to say about him as a coach than it does about Rosen.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because why would you tear down somebody that you had in your program?
And he tried to walk it back too, which I thought was interesting. It's like, are you being critical or are you not being critical? Anyway, I really like the Aaron Rodgers comparison with Josh Rosen, and I like the Drew Brees comparison with Baker Mayfield. So me and Brandon were talking about this earlier. I think that if you're going to go just with the ceiling, and if Rodgers is the ceiling for Rosen and the ceiling, the Drew's the ceiling for Baker, you got to ask yourself: would you rather draft Rodgers with a concussion issue or Drew Brees without one? And to me, I'm like 50-50 on that.
Drew Brees without one.
So,
hands down.
So I'm not hedging my bets. I'm making my pick. But I would not mind if that was Baker Mayfield.
Kind of tired of this word hedge right now. Tweaking me out.
Heavy word, it becomes hedge.
Wow.
He got me, yes. He flipped the
Full circle, baby.
You got to go back to episode 104 for that one.
Right,
yes.
Funny.
Yeah, that was the other studio. We were in the other studio for that. That was the Geisha week.
Yeah. We weren't paying rent over there, so
That's funny.
But I'm telling you, I think that the pick of Josh Rosen, I wouldn't be at all upset if Baker Mayfield was the pick. I think that would be real good too. So I think we're in really good shape with the round 1 pick. Now, I did notice that all three of us picked offensive linemen in the 3rd round. Am I correct on that?
Did we?
No.
Yeah.
No, I picked the tight end.
You picked the tight end.
Right.
So, but we all picked offense. We've all been really kind of harping on this idea of we got to spend picks on offense this year because we haven't done that in a long time. So I hope that Ragnow is there at pick number 72. I think with Price, Daniels, and Ragnow, it's a crapshoot whether any of those guys are going to be available at that point. But we'll see.
That's a tough call. Like, we were just talking about it, and a few weeks ago, I would have figured at least one of those three. I really like all three of these centers. And the centers that we acquired during free agency, I feel like they're like guard center types. And I'd like to move Winters aside. But I know
you're not a big Winters fan.
I'm not a big Winters fan, but it's a little contract prohibitive for me to ask that right now.
Yeah.
But at least we can have the pieces in place for it. But I really want that field general. I guess I got spoiled. We had Mawai, and right after Mawai, we have Mangold.
Yeah.
I think Mangold's a Hall of Famer, and Mawai definitely to me is a Hall of Famer. I think Mangold is not first ballot, but he'll hopefully get there. He'll probably end up getting there before Joe Klecko, which is a shame.
Right.
All right, but anyway.
Or Winston Hill.
Exactly,
I think what is in our favor is that there's a cluster of good centers that are probably going to go around the same time, and one of them may fall just because of need.
That's what I'm hoping, and
But
that's why.
But my question is, are they going to fall to our 3rd round pick?
Number 72.
Right. And my thing is if they are smelling at the end of the 2nd or beginning of the 3rd, I would package a deal.
Well, you
maybe
see,
2 or 3 of those, 5, 7, and move right up to pick that center.
Yep.
Mark my words, though. I think that in round 2, you're going to have a big run on running backs and wide receivers.
Yes.
Because they're all valued further
Second
back.
round. Yep.
So that might
give us a little
play
wiggle room,
into
right?
It. Yeah, especially because this is a guard center heavy draft and not a tackle heavy draft.
Right.
And for you, you and I were speaking. So you think Ragnow will go before James Daniels? Or no. Actually, I think Ragnow will go before James Daniels. And you think the opposite, or am I mistaken?
I mean, I've consistently seen Ragnow as the number 3 guy, and there's a huge drop off.
Me too.
Yes.
Quisenberry from UCLA, I think, is the fourth center, and I just watched a highlight of him on his back in a Josh Rosen thing,
like a cockroach,
like hoping nobody stepped on him. Yeah, so
a nasty look.
I don't know if he's even like in the mix for like a 3rd round. I think he's a 4th, 5th, 6th rounder.
Listen, I know that I am hedging again, but I would be happy with Ragnow or James Daniels. Stop looking at me, Kerry.
I don't think that
or Price.
Yeah, Price.
Yeah,
but I'm just saying, like, I think Price is going to go in like the lower part of the 1st round.
I don't think that I would pick a center in this draft probably
What?
unless it's one of those three.
Why not?
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Sorry,
Agreed.
we should let you finish.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Right.
seriously.
Like,
what?
Jumping all over.
What?
All right, so I'm gonna go
Little John style.
my fourth round pick is LSU is a great place to go looking for a D-back.
Sure.
Between Alabama, we haven't had good luck with Alabama D-backs, but it's commonly in college football thought of as LSU and Alabama are the best places as far as coaching.
Florida
For-
too.
May. We got May's at LSU. Right?
No, he's Florida.
He's
Florida.
from
I like Florida
Okay.
DBs too. To be
Yeah.
honest with you.
So, but you've consistently had Corey Raymond coaching DBs at LSU, and you've had Nick Saban is like the DB
DB
guru.
guy. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Kevin Tolliver is a good, solid person there that could come in and push a buster screen for slot corner stuff. Now, I have Ian Thomas a full round before you had him, Brandon, because I think that he's trending so up right now with people talking about him that he's not going to last till the sixth round. He'd be an absolute steal in the sixth round if we got him in the sixth round. But you have Mark Andrews, you have Dallas Goedert, Mike Gesicki from Penn State. Those guys will all probably go before him. So when you're thinking about pick 157, will there be more than 4 tight ends picked in those 157 picks? That's questionable.
Yeah, it's not a huge tight end draft.
No.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So
As far as blue chippers.
and it's like, and going back to Bucky Hodges, you were in love with O.J. Howard as far
Loved
as
him, still do.
as him.
Yeah, I
Bucky
do too.
Hodges was Mike Mayock's second tight end in that draft.
Right.
So,
right.
maybe tight end isn't as much of a need for us in the draft as it once was, but we all kind of like this Ian Thomas guy. All right, now 6 and 7, these are the ones that I really want to talk about because going with that, you gotta go and find an edge rusher where there may not be one. This guy Darius Jackson from Jacksonville State is like an in-between hybrid outside linebacker, edge rusher. Had better stats. Now, albeit this is on the FCS level.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna
Right.
preface it by
Right.
saying that. All right. So he was the Buck Buchanan 3-time All-American, Buck Buchanan Award winner for the best defensive player last year in Division I. What I like to call Division I AA. So he shares this award with Kyle Emanuel, who is a linebacker for the Chargers right now,
Yeah.
and Jared Allen also won this award.
Wow.
Right.
So-
Jared Allen.
Good company.
Yeah.
So what I
Idaho
did,
State, you said, right? For Jared Allen?
Jared Allen went to
Yeah.
Idaho State.
Copy that.
So I went and I pulled stats for Jared Allen career versus Darius Jackson career, and Jared Allen in 41 games had 71 tackles for loss and 38 and a half sacks
Wow.
in Idaho State's conference. Pretty low competition.
And you were saying that, did you say that he rushed the quarterback less, so his percentage of success
Well, he
is
was
even
a,
greater or
he was
something
a
like that?
stand-up linebacker as much as he was putting his hand in the ground.
Right.
So he covered people out of the backfield. He
This is Darius doing it?
this is Darius.
Okay.
Yeah,
So he just
He,
wasn't
um,
rushing. Wow.
he wasn't just putting his hand on the ground.
Yeah.
He was doing both. And in 39 games, he had 60 tackles for loss and 27 and a half sacks.
Wow.
So his numbers aren't that far off from where Jared Allen's were
Yeah.
in less games. So and at higher competition because Jacksonville State played LSU or Auburn the whole each the 4 years that he was there. So he was playing against some FBS stuff, but he compares favorably with that. And if you compare him with Bradley Chubb, his numbers are better.
Wow.
So he has better tackle for loss numbers and sack numbers than Bradley Chubb. Does that make him better than Bradley Chubb? Absolutely not.
Yeah. We have to look at the competition, but still the production is there.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, I mean,
You know his measurables?
He is 6'2.5", 245 pounds.
it's not bad. Take
Yeah.
that for an outside linebacker.
Now he didn't run the 40 fast. He was like 4'8", 40 guy. But we're talking about a 6th round pick here though. So we're talking about a guy who, to me,
Strong side.
if I'm looking at it,
Yeah.
If I'm looking at it like the philosophy of this is maybe a UFA that I'm locking in, rather than, some
But
trading up the picks.
No combine, right?
No, he was at the combine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he
I was
wasn't
thinking
invited
bench
to the
press. If
we could look up those numbers.
I'll look it up.
He was at the combine.
Gotcha.
But he is, if you look at character traits, he's like the motor guy, the guy who's like every day bringing the energy. That's what his coach says.
Gotcha.
Every day he walks in the building, he's there. I think this would be an outstanding pick as the developmental guy. Now, round 7 guy I have here, Jake Weineke from South Dakota State, a little bit overshadowed by the tight end that is coming out of South Dakota State, who caught a lot of passes. But this guy is like an Adam Thielen clone.
Oh.
All right. So I looked up the stats for both of them, Adam Thielen and this guy Weineke, because they both played. Thielen played at University of Minnesota Mankato, and he had 198 catches career for 2,802 yards. Okay, this guy Weineke right here had 288 catches for 5,157 yards and 59 touchdowns. All right, he caught a pass. He caught a pass in every game that he ever played in, and then 53 games, and he scored TDs in 35 of those games.
So was he on the highlight that you were listening to
when we were
with the music?
Yeah, with the 80s music. Yeah,
Wow.
That's the guy I was watching right before here.
What are his measurables? How tall is he?
6'4".
Oh, 6'4". I like that.
He is. Hold on, I got his stuff pulled up here.
And Jackson had 21 on the bench press.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Not bad. You'll take that for a linebacker.
Weineke is 6'4", 215.
250.
He wears number 19.
Keyshawn.
All right. No, but he has the same number as Adam Thielen.
Oh, wow.
He wears number 19, and South Dakota State is like purple and yellow, so it looks like he's on the Vikings.
Wow.
So this kid, whoever he goes and plays for, he's an unbelievably great character guy. He's going to be like one of these sleeper steal guys.
All right.
And you lock him in there at pick 7, you're not bidding with somebody else like the Minnesota Vikings.
So he got a 4.67 on the 40. This Weineke guy.
Okay, 4'6'7", 6'4", 250. I mean, he's not blazing, but
He's a red zone target.
he's a red zone target,
Sure.
possession guy, and hands, and you could potentially make something happen. I'll tell you what.
I mean, Thielen is a really good player.
No, absolutely.
You know, like he had a breakout year this year. This guy like has double his numbers.
Right, but if he's a route tree runner and a possession receiver, that's quality. That's value.
Yeah.
But I mean, the difference is Thielen ran a 4.45.
Yeah.
So
Oh, really?
I mean, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So that's a huge difference between the two from that perspective. But
I mean, this guy
context.
sounds a lot better than what we read about Chad Hansen after
don't
we
get me
drafted
started.
him.
Don't do it.
And
Don't
Chad
do it.
Hansen was
Don't do
what
it.
round?
Yeah, I don't
5th
know.
round.
I think so, yeah.
Chad Hansen reminds me of Danny Hansen.
Oh,
What
that's
up, Danny Hansen?
Oh, here we go.
And we're going to use that. Hey, guys, girls, first of all, thank you, everybody, for allowing us to join you and just give us our point of views of the Jets. Listen, the Jets, we draft, what is it, the 26th this Thursday coming up?
Yep.
8 o'clock. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my heart's racing already. Come on, Jets. Get that franchise QB. And also, our audience, let us know who came closest as far as who the Jets actually draft versus our respective mocks. So let us know. Hop in on Twitter at BKBK Podcast.
We could set up a poll on Twitter. I think,
Let's
for
set up
this.
a poll on
Yeah.
Twitter. We'll set up the same identical poll on our Facebook page, which is the BKBK Podcast, Instagram as well.
There's going to be
the
another.
gram.
There's
Yep,
going to
the
be
gram.
another poll. Biggest hedger. Who do you think
Oh
was
my
the biggest
gosh.
hedger?
Listen, I'm
Make
about
sure
to
you mock Brendan.
Hedgiest hedger.
HEGD.
AKA Sonic the Hedgehog.
I saw his. I saw his first draft of the mock, and it said Mayfield / Rosen /
Get
Any
outta
other
here.
quarterback.
Donald
Yeah, right.
/
Any other
Allen
Slash Tom Brady / yeah. All right, whatever. All right, thanks for joining us for this week's edition of the BKBK Podcast. Thanks again for all the views. So keep watching. We want to be able to keep bringing you the latest news and viewpoints of where sports and the culture collide, and the New York Jets reign supreme. You can find us on Facebook on our podcast fan page. You can find us on Twitter at BKBK Podcast, as well as on YouTube. Just type in BKBK Podcast. Hit the like and subscribe button to show the love. I also want to say thanks to our sponsor, Summit 68, for housing and filming BKBK Podcasts. You can go to summit68.com for all of your professional and private studio needs. That's it, guys and girls. Let's go BKBK. Let's go Baldwin Bruins. And let's go Jets. We're out. Woo! Let this...